Okay, guys, so we are entering the post-class Q&A session. We had a couple of people's questions were unanswered, so we'll try to answer them. But before I go there, anything from today's topic? Any questions, guys? And yeah, people who are not able to attend again, don't worry, recording will be shared as usual. Yeah, go ahead, guys.
Devanshu, one question like this thing which we implemented is only for these 11 data sources, means like how many data sources are there for this implementation?
Two data sources, but there is no restriction. You can do for other data sources 12, 13, 17, whatever you want.
Yeah, means so for 12, 13, I think the implementation will be different, right?
No. 12, 13 also implementation will be same, because they all see, it depends. It is not a hard and fast rule, but it depends from customer to customer. Some say that keep 11 separate, 12 separate, 13 separate. Within LO also keep implementation separate. Okay. But others can say that keep the sales and distribution or LO cockpit at one implementation, FI another implementation, your HR related thing another implementation. So they can differentiate between the subject area or domain also. So it completely depends on the architecture followed in the particular client.
No, means I was having confusion, like when we tried with the next data source, it gave error, like not error, it took 0 record because the method was missing. Now
it gave a dump.
Yeah, it gave a dump. So now my question is, like when we'll do that for this 12 or 13, will that also give us dump? Like if we try to go to RSA 3, and if we try to...
Yes, it will. Why? Because your code so far, this particular code has not taken care of a scenario where your method does not exist and it should not do anything in that case. That code is missing right now. You have to add the code saying that LV method, if not found, then please don't dump it out, but don't do anything and just, come out of it.
Where we should write that code, like here?
You should write that code in the data transform.
Okay.
Yeah, in the data transform, you should have a check. Maybe you have to create another method which first checks that the iData source particular method exists or not. If it exists, then it moves forward. So you have to write that code. If you want a sample of that code, I can give it to you in the next class. But if you want to try it out first, I would encourage you to write it first, see if you can. If you're not able to, then I'll give you the code sample.
And this code is for all the LBWE sources, right?
No. This code, this enhancement implementation BADI will be called for every data source. All standard data sources, this will be called, whether it's LBWE, whether it's FI, whether it's something else.
Okay. So the segregation you are telling us, like LBW, we should have different implementation. FI, we should have different implementation.
Yes.
How should we do that?
Yeah, I would recommend that keep your logistics cockpit as a separate implementation, FI separate implementation, your HR related data sources separate implementation. So your domain specific implementation is better from my side. Now within LO also, some people I have seen, they are saying that keep sales and distribution 11, 12, 13 as a separate implementation, and other ones like inventory, inventory and purchasing, because they are module, right? Materials management, keep them separate. Sales and distribution, keep them separate. Plant maintenance and customer service and others, keep them separate. So I have seen segregation within LO also. Again, there is no hard and fast rule, or there is nothing, this is better than that. There is nothing like that. It is completely based on how your architecture has defined it. See, we want to have a balance. The thumb rule is we want to have a balance of not too many implementations of the baddie, at the same time independence of modifying different modules, data sources, if required. The parallel development should happen by different developers as long as the modules are different. So
Yeah.
that's the
Devanshu, means my
criteria.
question was like, when we are saying different implementation, then there will be different classes, right? Or it will use the same.
Absolutely. No, it will not use the same class. Same class
So
means then
then,
you're coming to the same code. Then what's the use?
yeah,
Class is going
yeah,
to be
exactly.
different. Class is different.
Exactly, and and you are saying that all these data source will hit the class we created. So how to segregate different class for different data source? That is what.
So that's what I told you. If you create a code which will say that if you don't find that data source specific method, don't do
Hmm.
anything. So say for example, there are 10 implementations of the baddie. Okay. One is for
Okay.
FI, one is for HR, one is for billing, order and shipping, one is for your inventory, purchasing, etc. Like this, there are 10. Now, when the data source will be executed, it will go and check all the 10 implementations.
Oh,
Implementation
okay.
1, I did not find the code. Implementation 2, did not find it. Implementation 3, yes, there is a code for this data source. Executed. 4, no. 5, no. 6, no. Up to 10, no.
Okay. 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 Got it. I was missing this part. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. And when we say, when we have like CDS view based extraction, for that it will be ODP, not this one, right? So
No, this is also ODP. ODP is applicable to both CDS view and the standard extractors. The only thing is the context of the ODP will be different. There it will be a separate queue for ODP for the standard extractors. So let me show you in ODQmon. ODP framework will be applicable to all. Now, how you will differentiate? You will differentiate based on the context, ODP context. So provider, if it is ABAP CDS, that means it's a CDS view based extractor. If it is data source model, that means it's a standard data source, standard extractor given by SAP.
okay.
Similarly, if you have other providers, like for example, BW is your source, then BW will be the ODP source. ODP introspection is just for testing, and HANA information views. By the way, this is deprecated, but if HANA information views are there, then HANA information views will be there. So based on different providers, you will have separate queues. But ODP as a general will be applicable to both. Tomorrow we will discuss in detail the ODP framework, and I'll show you the subscription model, how it works.
Okay. And Devanshu, you'll be telling us how to, mean the detail of CDS views and all, right?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Okay.
We will
That is
create a CDS view. See, what did I tell you? We will have a mixed hybrid approach. The header we will take from standard 12IS11 VHDR. The item,
okay.
I'm not going to use via ITM. I just showed you so that you know how to create separate methods for separate data sources. But the actual data source we are going to use for BW replication will be CDS view based item data source, and that will create from scratch a Z CDS view. So you will understand the workings of CDS view.
Okay. Okay. And for CDS view, we generally don't use this bad implementation, right? Or
No,
do
no,
we use?
no bad
No, right?
implementation.
Okay.
No, no.
Okay. And Devanshu, how the question is like, if I have a hierarchy, like GL account hierarchy,
Yes,
uh, will we take that from standard data source, or will we take that from CDS view?
both are possible. CDS view also gives us the option of hierarchies, and standard data source also gives you hierarchies. There are separate data sources for hierarchy data for hierarchy data. So both you can use. If
Okay.
your project is more inclined towards CDS views, right? There
Yeah.
are standard CDS views for hierarchies also are there. If you don't want to create a Z data source for CDS view for hierarchies, there are standard CDS views also available. and there are standard extractors also available. So both are possible.
Devansh, like, let's say if we are going with a brand new B4 installation, so what do you suggest, like the ODP or the CDS based extraction?
I would suggest you go for CDS based extraction and try to find the CDS standard CDS views for different subject areas. Like for SD, you will have standard CDS views. For FI, you will have standard CDS views, etc. So you can go for CDS views. In fact, you can also start using the CDS view based extractors, standard extractors. But please keep in mind, they have not been released for all the modules. So for modules where you will not find standard CDS views easily, there you can go for extractors, standard extractors.
Yeah, but whatever the released one, are those matured or still there in the development?
No, not yet matured. They are still evolving. They are still evolving.
Okay.
But the CDS views are matured enough. So the standard CDS views, you can create a Z data source based on the standard CDS views, and you can use them very easily.
Devanshu, can we create time-dependent hierarchies in CDS views?
Time-dependent hierarchies, I think yes, you can. Yeah, you can.
Means CDS views are it is not storing data, right? So where we should store that hierarchy data?
So via CDS view, you have to store it in BW.
Okay, in embedded BW, you're saying?
Not in embedded BW, in the separate BW instance. See, CDS view is just your source of your data source. But from the data source, you are storing data in either an info object or an ADSO, correct? Or
okay, means okay. No, I was thinking like client has taken only S4, okay, and they are not buying BW4. So then will that be possible, or should we say client that you have to buy a BW to implement your management reporting on?
No, see, no, you don't have to buy separate BW. You have to just activate the embedded embedded analytics within S4. Embedded analytics is nothing but your bunch of CDS views, right? And then you show them that these are the CDS views we activated, and these are the reports we have built. Does that satisfy a requirement? If they say that no, that does not satisfy a requirement, we need something else, then you have to go for BW separately. But if your embedded analytics is satisfying your requirement, then it's because it's real-time data. In BW, it is not real-time, it is near real-time or batch. But in embedded analytics, it is real-time data. So they might be, happy with that as well.
Yeah, but like for time-dependent hierarchy, it is changing. Like my region hierarchy was different previous year, and this year it is different. So previous year data I don't have.
Yeah, so CDS views have parameters, input parameters. When you create CDS view, they can have input parameters, and that input parameters will be key date. Okay. When you will execute the CDS view, it will ask you what is the key date you want to execute. If you give 1 year back date, the hierarchy it will pick will be a year back hierarchy where the Toronto will show under, say for example, Toronto will show under GTA. But if the key date is today's date, the user gives today's date while executing the CDS view, Toronto might be shifted to Alberta. Just a vague example. So now the province shown for Toronto will be Alberta. So based on whatever input parameters you pass to the CDS views, accordingly the data will be filtered for you.
No, that is fine, but the data itself is changing. Like the Toronto means I have not stored that thing. I don't have stored it like in S4.
No, in S4, in S4 tables, in standard tables, there is a valid from and valid to. In the standard S4 tables, usually there is a valid from and valid to, dat AB, dat BI. These are the fields. A live example is HR tables. right? PA000, PA007, all these tables, wherever your time dependent hierarchies or time dependency is maintained, you will have a valid from and valid to in your base tables.
Okay, okay.
Otherwise,
Okay,
how will
got
you
it.
achieve? You cannot achieve otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
S4 has taken care of it. Don't worry. S4 tables, go to the tables and check valid to and valid from, which is usually either dat bi and dat ab field name will be there most likely
mhm.
if time dependency is applicable to that module.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And Devanshu, if we have hierarchies in CDS view,
Yep.
then can we make that extractor from a single CDS view, or should we have a separate CDS view for the hierarchy to BW, and for like this operational data we should have a separate extractor with the lowest granularity?
I will recommend separate extractors. Keep one for hierarchy and keep the other
Yeah,
for the operational extractant, because you can easily troubleshoot the problem, and also you will keep things separate, because when you create a hierarchy CDS view, it needs multiple CDS views inside. You cannot just
yeah.
create one simple hierarchy CDS view, so it needs one CDS view. Then on top of that, you will create another CDS view where you will do the annotation based association to that CDS view for hierarchy. So a
Mm.
hierarchy CDS view is not a simple one. It's a little bit complex. So I would recommend to keep it separate from the regular transaction data CDS view.
Okay, okay. So for only for dimensions, the like hierarchies will be there. Say for say sub-region or
Yes.
profit center, like
Yes.
the hierarchy will be there, and this profit center data will come in a like operational
And
way.
later on, you can join them. You can join them
We can join them in BW, right?
in BW. Correct.
In BW.
Even in CDS views also you can join them, but base CDS views, please keep it separate.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Clear. Mm. Thanks, Devanshu.
Devanshu, like this is a separate license for embedded analytics, or it's part of the
No,
S4?
it's part of S4.
Okay, when we implement that embedded analytics, that is only specific to that system, right?
That system meaning? I didn't get
I
that.
mean, like, let's say we have S4 1909 and we implemented this embedded analytics,
Yeah.
and there is another S4 system which is on
Oh,
1803.
yeah. That is specific to the server, the system. Correct.
Okay, if we want like a consolidated, then we need to extract that CDS view into BW, and then we have to merge, right?
That is correct. So a very common question which is asked is, if I have S4, do I really need BW4 or not? Right? That's a very common question.
Yeah, the first introductory session. Yeah.
Exactly. So the answer to that is yes and no. Yes, when you want to consolidate multiple systems and then do reporting, then you have to install some separate data warehousing. It can be BW, it can be native HANA based data warehousing, or it can be third party data, non-SAP data warehouse also. But no, you don't need a separate. If your source is only S4 and you want to have real-time reporting, then you don't need a separate BW. But there is also a caveat. I mentioned this in introductory session. The moment your volume will grow from millions to billions and the users will grow from thousands to hundreds of thousands, your S4 will start showing performance degradation.
Yeah, in that scenario, like once they invest so much on the S4 HANA embedded analytics, what happens to those?
That's a very good question. So those embedded analytics can be, you can generate a data source based on those CDS views. They have created complex CDS views. Just create a data source and then you can use it without doing any rework in the S4 side.
You mean that extract that generate data source extract to the BW?
The create a Z data source based on the CDS view.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, BW side you will have some work, but S4 side you don't have to do any other rework.
Okay. So
Yeah.
will you be covering the data tiering topics like hot, cold, warm data?
A little bit. I'll be touching upon it. If time permits, I will go into detail. If time does not permit, then I will just touch upon it, and then I'll
Sure.
share the material with you.
Sure. Thank you.
Hey, Devanshu, one
Yes,
small
Satish.
question. Yeah, like in normal ECC and BW, we used to take downtime for implementing anything like standard content to be activated. Or so in this case, when you have a BW for HANA and S4 HANA,
Yeah.
we need a downtime, or without downtime it can be done, because since the HANA is a high performance analytic machine, so to log the users, to run the setup table, we need a downtime. So here also you need?
Yes, you need. You need. So if you are dealing with setup tables, right, you will need downtime. To be safe, you will definitely need downtime. That has not changed.
But it will be fast, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It will be much faster. It will be very fast. So your downtime will reduce for sure. Your downtime will reduce because now the setup table filling and all those jobs will be much faster because of the HANA database. But the process is not gone. But when you use CDS view based extractors, you will not have any setup tables concept there for CDS views. There you will not need downtime.
So we'll be doing this CDS view enhancements also?
Yes, absolutely.
Devanshu, something.
Devanshu?
Yes, tell me.
Devanshu, yeah. Can you open the main class here, which we have implemented? Because I have some doubt regarding our standard parameter which we have used. So just scroll up. Yeah. So here you can see that here we have defined this LSOLTP source type RSA OT underscore S underscore O source. So what it is, like, from where we have taken this?
Oh, this is a standard data structure available, and I'm creating a local structure. This is my own declared variable of type this. So this is a standard type which is there, which we usually use for the data source structure. Okay, so this structure is part of the RSA OT family. So whenever you are dealing with data sources, you have to take like data element. Like for example, in BW, when we code, we always take 0 OI. OI is the data element of info object, right? When we declare the type, we take the data element or the domain of the info object. Similarly, when you deal with data sources, you will deal with RSA OT objects, and RSA OT has many different types for the OLTP sources. OLTP sources means your data sources, your structure, extract structure, what we saw with the data source. So I am using, go ahead. So I am using one of the types from RSA OT family, and when I'm using that, I am using that type, and when I am passing that, because this RSA1 single OLTP source, this ES OLTP source is of type RSA OTS source. So that's why I also declared my type as this, so that I can easily pass it to the function module.
Okay, because I was having some doubt related to, like, since CT data is also having the similar structure, which exactly like our data source structure. So why can't we use that here?
CT data, yes, I think you can use it. But the reason I used the RSA OT is because if you see this, I'll show you this. Okay, let me go here. Okay, it's opening up. Just give it a few seconds. So basically, if you see, So here I am using ESOLTP source. What is the type? RSAOTSO source, right? Because I have to use this particular structure and pass on, I provided the same as here. That's the only reason. But yes, I think you can use CT data also. But I wanted to keep the structure exactly same so that no error or no confusion is there.
Okay, fine. I got it.
Devanshu, can you forward this code or can you copy?
No, it is a part of the material. Don't worry. See, as a part of the material, I have the last part as code block. Okay. In that code block, I have MCV back. I have the class specific implementation code, and I also have the main generic code. So everything is there. Don't worry.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Also, Devanshu, as you mentioned that suppose if there is suppose there is a data source for which enhancement is not available, right? And due to that, it will give error. So
if you have not taken
mentioned,
care,
if we haven't taken care about it.
Correct.
So how to continue our next next block execution? So do we need to use continue keyword, or it has been something different, like something other keyword?
No, not keyword. What I would recommend you is create another method. You have to create a small method, and that method should, the sole purpose of that method should be to check whether the data source, which is coming in I_data source, the method specific to that data source exists or not. So please create a separate, because to keep it modular and to keep it consistent, create a separate method. And if the method returns a flag, okay, that flag is yes, it exists, then you go to the particular, jump to the call. You call that method, call LV method. So before this call, before this one, okay, you have to call another method. Before this method call that specific method and check the return parameter of that method should be a flag, yes or no. That means that will check, is that method exists? If the method exists, the flag is yes. If the flag is yes, then you go into this block, else do nothing.
Okay.
Devanshu, should we check this method, this condition at the very first stage?
Yes, that's even better. That's even better. So that it will not do all that, it will not allocate the memory, it will not create the case statements all. Yeah, you can do that. Absolutely.
And I have another question with SAC. I know it's out of the box right now. But with BW Live connection, does SAC support hierarchies?
It does. Absolutely.
Up to what level? I mean,
it supports time-dependent hierarchy nodes and the entire hierarchy, both.
Okay.
So at a node level, it supports. Yes. SAC Live connection supports hierarchy. SAC Live connection supports cell structures. So cell editors. Okay. SAC Live connection supports your conditions, exception aggregation. SAC Live connection supports most of the BW features as it is. SAC Live connection also supports customer exit variables, HANA exit variables in queries. It supports all. We will see that when we will integrate our BW query with SAC, we are going to actually create HANA exit variables using AMDP class and method, and customer exit variable using the BADI. And then I'll show you how it is showing up in SAC Live connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Even if it supports the hierarchy from like S4 and BW, if you want to merge them like in a model, but the thing is the hierarchy technical name in BW and S4 should be same. That is the constant.
Okay. Yeah, that I have not tried yet.
We had a similar this situation where we had to merge BW and S4. Then the idea was like the technical name should be same, otherwise it will not.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Devanshu, you're saying last. Can you please repeat the last statement you said? What you are going to cover with HANA?
Oh, okay. With SAC Live connection, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So see, what we will do is So we have created the baddie, we have created data source. Then next we will see the ODP concept. Next we will create CDS view. And once we are done with the CDS view, now we will create the BW flow, advanced DSOs for the header, advanced DSO for the item, and we'll create open ODS views. And then we will also use the HANA CV, which we created in our HANA native classes. Using these, all the 4 or 5 objects, ADSOs, open ODS views, and HANA CVs, we will create a composite provider. And on top of the composite provider, we'll create queries, BW query.
Okay.
Because Bex is gone, so I'll show you how to create a query in Eclipse. In that query, we'll create 2 customer exit variables. One is the regular customer exit, which has now gone to baddie, by the way. So we'll implement that baddie in BW side now. It's a separate baddie. All this one we are doing for the data source in S4, but that one is the BW baddie. So we'll show you I'll show you how to do the baddie implementation. And the second type of exit variable is HANA exit variable. This is a new type of your exit variable.
This is what I was struck with.
Yes, HANA exit variables, I will show you how to implement that using AMDP based class and method. It's also a baddie, but the class within that baddie will be AMDP, ABAP managed database procedure. Okay. And there I'll show you how to implement that, debug that, and how it works.
So you create that in HANA and then expose that HANA as a live to
No. We create it in Eclipse itself. When you create the customer exit, not customer exit, the exit variable using the HANA exit, right? It generates a class. Automatically it will generate a class, and you have to implement the baddie first. So there is a baddie associated with HANA exit. There is a baddie associated with regular customer exit. So first, create a variable. Step number 1, provide the type as HANA exit. Processing type HANA exit. Then you will have to go to the baddie implementation. Same thing, SE19. Now this is a new baddie. So we'll create the implementation. We will write the class and we'll write the code in the class, and then automatically that code will be invoked when you will run the query, because the query has HANA exit variable, and HANA exit variable automatically check whether there is any active implementation of the baddie. If there is, it will execute the code.
So it was Devanshu like previous CMOD code, which you used to write
correct.
customer exit.
Yes. Now it has gone to baddie.
Now Bex query is not there.
No. Now it has, and the CMOD code has moved to baddie.
Okay.
Yeah. But now with the HANA exit variable, now the baddie has also been enhanced with a AMDP based class, not a regular class. Same for transformation. In the transformation, we are going to write end routine, we are going to write start routine, we are going to write field routine, all the 3. And for all the 3, I will show you how AMDP based transformation code is written. Now our classic code is no more used. Okay. It's not gone. It's still there, of course. But now recommended way is create HANA runtime transformation. And the moment you switch the runtime to HANA runtime, all your routines will be generated as an AMDP class and methods. So we'll work on that as well.
Devanshu, sorry.
Yes.
Right now, whatever we are doing here,
this is not AMDP.
No, it's not AMDP. What I'm asking is, right now the setup is S4 HANA and B4 HANA. Okay.
Correct.
Now, in real life scenario, people may be having ECC highest version, whatever service or package, whatever is there. So the ECC is going to last for another how many years, or it's going to sunset and S4 will become the de facto standard for B4
Yeah, there
HANA?
is a limit for ECC version also. So SAP has extended the support for ECC NetWeaver versions, and same for BW also. BW 7.4, 7.5 has 7.4 is I think ending this year, if I'm not wrong, and 7.5 is ending 2027. So similarly for ECC also there is a limit. I think it's also same 2027. Till that they have extended the support, and after 2027 you have to move to S4 if you want the support to continue. See, you can still run. Beyond 2027 also you can run, but if you face any issues, there will not be any support. Support will be highly restricted.
So if they are running with ECC, whichever is the highest version, till 2025, 27, then on the other hand, you have B4 HANA. So that time when it is integrating with ECC, whether these kind of class methods, AMDP, that will work, or like how?
That will work. That will work. So AMDP needs, I think, minimum some NetWeaver version of 730, if I'm not wrong. Correct me, guys, if I'm wrong. 730 onwards, SP5 or SP7.
Yeah.
These things have started coming. They might not be matured. You might not be able to use all the functionalities which is available in 740 and 750 release, right? But yes, these are available. You can definitely start using them.
So these functionalities can be used.
That
will be compatible with ACC.
That's right. That's right. It is there. So this baddie is not a new baddie. It has been here for years. Similarly, in BW, the baddies which I'll be using for customer exit and your HANA exit were there. It's not like only with BW for HANA they introduced. I think they were there. But yeah, they are more enhanced, more functionalities, complex coding you can write, which might not be possible in the previous releases. That's
okay, but just for sake of question, like this baddie and all, they have made it more complex, I suppose, right? In B4 HANA, it should be less coding, and there is no other way around. Baddie has to be written.
Baddie is a better way. Baddie is a better way of coding, I would say. Because of the modularization, and it is very fast, and it's an OOPS concept. It is basically they have moved to OOPS from the conventional classic coding ABAP. They have moved to OOPS concept. That's the only difference. Otherwise, it might look, from what we are doing, it might look that, oh my God, this is so complex. It is not. Once you get used to it, it will be very simple for you.
So in this example, you created the structure and all. So in real life scenario, somebody might have already made an enhancement. So we need not touch the structure, only the code part where the enhancement, that select where you are doing that part you need to change and activate the baddie.
No, I would not say, because see, even in the previous world, you were the one, if you are given the responsibility of enhancement, you were the one who used to go to extract structure and enhance the extract structure. Correct?
Right.
Not that somebody else will do the extract structure and you do the coding only. That doesn't happen usually.
No, not like that. I'm saying some other guy has done some enhancement and he has gone. Now some other new guy has come.
Oh, okay. So you are just expanding that enhancement. That's all.
Yeah.
We are saying. Yes. You're right.
So that time you have to go and only change the code where the fields are there.
Where the fields are there. But in case you have to do everything from scratch, now you know how to do what to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dibanshu, I have 4 questions here. So this is Pravanjan, by the way.
Yes, so, Pravanjan, tell me.
I was going to ask about, I know in between the coursework that you're teaching here, you are kind of going through the performance issues related with whether it be modeling or coding. Is there like a consolidated place where, because I think that is a very key topic in how you deal with the performance issues in modeling or your, how you're writing your baddie code or whatever. Is there do you plan to have a consolidated list or a list or a link to something that talks about performance issues?
Yes,
or improvements, I should say, not even just issues, but improvements.
Yeah, sure. So I will go about this in 2 ways. First way is, as we are doing the modeling, I'm going to keep giving you tips to how to keep things in a performance compliant way in a healthy state. So I'll keep giving you those directions and tips, whatever we have used in the project. So we'll give you that. But again, customer by customer, there can be different scenarios. So not all tips which I give or not all, experience which I share might be applicable. So I can also give you a link for documents which we have referred to or we have used from SAP. In fact, I can share you one document from SAP which we received, which gives us the hints for AMDP, enhancing the AMDP, and what lessons learned from the AMDP code. We can I can share you that. And along the way, of course, I will keep giving you some tips. Is that okay? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks. I was on mute. The second question I had was on inventory data extracted into BW for HANA. I understand that has changed in BW for HANA,
yes,
as well as marker and others. So is there anything that you have for that?
Yes, I will cover that in detail.
Okay.
So we are going to create a data source for inventory, and I'll show you what has changed and how it works.
Okay, perfect. The third question I had was around to better understand what you talked about for extraction, right? On the source system side in LBWE, we understand why we need setup tables because of what you talked about, and the difference between LIS extractors or LO extractors compared to, let's say, finance extractors, which are time driven or timestamp driven. Why? I mean, and this is where I say to better understand why it's done that way with the setup tables. Isn't there? Wouldn't it be possible to just add these like this CHPOS and the other tables which contain the timestamp? Wouldn't it be just possible to add that to the?
CDPOS and CDHDR. The changes.
Yeah.
Those are huge tables. Huge. Those
right.
tables are one of the biggest tables in the system, I would say.
Right.
So if you want to refer to that with the timestamp, I don't think that's an efficient way. Yeah. See, I understand CDPOS and CDHDR you can use, and sometimes we do use them for identifying the change or the delta. But because of the sheer volume of the data in that, and also the way data is stored in there, I don't think it is an efficient way to read them. I have seen many projects tried that, and gradually, eventually they saw that performance is not that good with CDHDR and CDPOS. So yes, technically possible. Why not? Absolutely. But performance wise, not recommended.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is this would remain for a long time then, the setup table and the age-old LBWE type of extraction and everything would remain.
Not for very long, because I can envision CDS view extractors in 2 to 3 years of time replacing most of the data sources.
And that's what I was trying to understand. How would CDS view replace this? If it's kind of does CDS view kind of use the same concept of getting the information from CD, POS, and HDR tables?
No. I don't think CDS view will take the data from CD, POS, and CD HDR. I have to check though in the backend what tables these standard CDS views are using, but I think they are
for deltas, right? Basically, that's what we're talking about. How would
correct for deltas. Yeah. Yes. So for future, CDS views will be connected to SLT, which is called CDC, Change Data Capture with CDS views. That's a new functionality introduced in S/4HANA 1909. So what they are doing is, now say for example, the CDS view is based on 10 base tables, 10 different tables. So from the table point of view, there will be triggers created on the tables. And then as soon as there is a change which has happened, the update trigger or the delete trigger or the insert trigger, and one of the triggers will execute, and it will provide the CDS view the change that yes, this is the change which has happened, and CDS view will eventually identify delta. So that's what I am seeing as the future direction, combining SLT with CDS view. Another way is annotation based. So if you have certain annotations for delta capturing, the CDS view becomes delta enabled, and then you can easily identify delta, which we will do in our exercises. But SLT is the next like advanced step with CDS.
Okay. One related question about SLT, I guess. So I understand we can create like virtual tables and use SDA for data extraction from other source systems. Is because we have not covered, and I'm not familiar with that. So ABAP CDS view is another way to remotely access the data from source system.
Correct. You're right.
Okay.
So if you have ABAP stack, then absolutely ABAP CDS view you can use to remotely access without loading the data. Also, you can access via OpenODS views.
Okay. And I know we would still have routines, right? When we cover BW side, we'll have start
transformations.
Routine, end routine. What is the alternative for an end routine? Is there an alternative for end routine?
AMDP method.
Okay.
Yeah. So whenever you change the runtime of the transformation to HANA runtime, the moment you click on create end routine, it is going to generate a method which will be implemented via a database procedure, not your application server anymore. So the alternate, which is the new way to do it, is AMDP based method for end routine.
Okay, thank you.
Which we will cover, by the way, in detail. Don't worry.
While we're on that, I guess just one quick thing. So because you said about AMDP, but expert routine covers, I mean, you could write an expert routine for covering both start and end routines, right? Is that how it generally works? I mean, I guess as a general use for expert routine, is that supposed to cover both start and end routines?
Yes. Expert routine, if you write, you cannot write any other routine.
Right.
And expert routine is basically written when the target structure does not meet the source structure at all. So it is completely different. Then you will go for expert routine, which will cover your end, start, field, everything.
Got it. Okay.
And that also can be written in AMDP as an AMDP method, expert routine.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, hey, sorry, someone else.
Yeah. Dimanshu. Indra here. So I have one quick question, like regarding, say suppose if we have a few details available in our extractor and some other data is coming through some CDS views or HANA live views. So could we combine both together and get into BW via composite provider?
Yeah, absolutely.
That right approach?
Yeah. We are going to do that. So what we are going to do is one standard extractor, one ZCDS view, and then we'll combine them in our composite provider.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's possible. Very much possible. That's a very valid scenario, also real-time scenario. Yes, Suresh, you had a question.
Yeah, Dimanshu, like I'm very curious, like to understand, is OOPS ABAP only relevant if we are having HANA?
No. OOPS ABAP has not, like OOPS ABAP is not only connected to HANA. OOPS ABAP along with ABAP on HANA syntax is using the full functionality of HANA. Otherwise, without HANA, say for example, we have Oracle or SQL Server or DB2, OOPS ABAP will make things better in terms of code performance and code modularization, right? But HANA is not mandatory for OOPS ABAP.
So, I mean, what is the basic difference between those two? I mean, only that implementing by class method that we have seen through BADI, but say suppose if we are doing normal start routine, end routine, field routine, I mean, is OOPS ABAP applicable for there too?
Yes. Normal ABAP, OOPS ABAP is applicable there too. Now, what is the difference? Difference is both will create the normal start routine, end routine will create a class and methods. Okay. Your HANA runtime will also create class and methods. Both will create class and methods. Remember this. Okay. So from an OOPS concept, no change. Same Same thing will be there. Class is also relevant for ABAP, normal ABAP, and for HANA runtime SQL scripting, right? That is AMDP. Class is relevant, method is relevant. No difference. Then the next question is, then what is the difference? Difference is the code which you will write in the method implementation, right? Will be executed when it is HANA, when your database is HANA. The code which you are writing in method implementation will not be executed by ABAP application layer anymore. It will generate a database procedure, HANA database procedure, like one we created. In the native HANA, we created a procedure, right?
Right.
Similar procedure will be generated, auto-generated by the system, and now the code will run completely in HANA database, and then the value will be given to the ABAP layer finally, and then it can complete the transformation. Whereas in regular class and method, there will be some data back and forth between your database and your application server for your code execution. Whereas in AMDP, no data transfer will happen.
Okay.
That's the difference. Now, if you use ABAP on HANA, code, syntax, new syntax which we are using, in a regular class, not an AMDP class and method, that will give you code push down, but that will not give you everything running in HANA database as a database procedure. That doesn't happen. That only happens when you write an AMDP based class and method, which is the new way in transformations and customer exit, HANA exit variables. Don't worry. When we will write the code, then you will understand what is the difference between AMDP class and method and regular class and method. But both the ABAP and HANA runtime will create class and method. So OOPS is applicable to both.
Okay.
Yeah.
For Elbow cockpit, we are going to LBWE transaction, right? To see the Elbow cockpit things.
That's right.
For the FI things, which transaction we need to go?
RSA 5. So for for the regular RSA 5 transaction code, you will see all the FI data sources there. Guys, any other question? I'll just take a couple of more questions, then we will end.
So I had one question in the question sheet.
Oh yeah,
Will you be
thanks
covering
for
that
reminding. Tomorrow? No. Thanks for reminding that. Let's see. Is that Altaf or Vijay? Vijay. Okay. So Vijay had a question on this. Let me open the link. What does the link say?
It's about tomorrow's topic only, but last week you covered. I thought you're not going to extend this. Maybe if you're covering
Replication
it, I can
test, RODP test. Yeah. This is the same program we used to put the dummy subscription in the ODQ Mon, right? Operational delta queues. So what is the question here? What do you want to understand?
I didn't get why we are going to use this in place of.
Okay, I'll tell you. So there are two purposes to this particular program. Okay. First purpose is to put a dummy subscription when you don't want to put a subscription from BW within S4HANA you want to test. Then you have to put a dummy subscription for that particular module in the ODQ if you want to fill the setup tables. That is the first purpose, and that's what I have used it for. The second purpose is to test ODP extraction. So when RSA 3, we have seen that RSA 3 is usually for the regular data sources. If you want to test whether data source is working fine or not, you want to debug that. So RSA 3 is your main go-to code. For ODP data sources, this is a program given by SAP to test ODP data sources. In this program, you will get option like previous delta, last delta. Can you please extract that and show me the last delta records? What was the last delta? Or show me the recovery of the last delta. So there are a lot of options to test ODP relevant extractors. So let's go there and I'll show you the options. So basically this is also used for actual testing, not just for dummy subscription. That is one of the use cases, but another use case is actually testing the ODP data sources. This guy. Right? So here you have to provide context first. What is the context? Context means that whether it is ODP connected to CDS views or ODP connected to HANA information views, HANA CVs, or ODP connected to your standard extractors, that is your context. So you have to provide the context, right? Data source extractors, these are standard extractors. Your BW can be the source. ABAP core data services can be the source. HANA information views, deprecated by the way, but can be the source. And this is for some introspection, meaning some testing. Random data means from any database table, if you want to extract, you can just test it out. So this is for testing the ODP based extractors in addition to RSA3. So SAP has given it. So say for example, I have data source extractors and I want to test recovery of previous deltas. So if you want to test whether, you know, day before yesterday's delta, can I just recover that and test it? What was the value there? I want to troubleshoot it. Last delta, I want to troubleshoot it. And full delta, full data, not delta, sorry, full data I want to test from this ODP extractor with a particular selection. So for example, if I want to run full, but I want some selections, so you can put some selections here. Of course, you have to give the data source name here, right? So this is the data source name, and then you want to put some selections for the data source. So you can put the selections you want to test it for, and projections you want to put. Read open pointer, I don't know what exactly is this, but there are some other options. Parallel, serial, direct extraction, and then what is the output format. So this is another tool given by SAP to test ODP enabled extractors. So you can use RSA3 also by, you know, putting the debugging point I showed you. You can put breakpoints and debug that, that's fine. But in addition to that, you can use this for an actual testing of ODP enabled extractors. In addition to the test dummy subscription use case that is there, and your real testing can also happen. That's the main purpose. I think that's what they might have explained. I don't know what is there in this. Yeah, see, they have given different ODP context. What does this mean? BW, HANA views, attribute analytic IMA, they are deprecated, but this entire thing is deprecated by the way. HANA information views for ODP. Introspection, all those things. Replication, yeah, all full, all those things. Yeah. So basically, this is just a tool for two purposes: dummy subscription and actual testing of ODP extractors. Okay, what is the next question?
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Altaf, are you there, Altaf?
Yes, delta merge.
Yes, delta merge. What is delta merge? Okay. So I already have given a material for you guys for delta words.
I went through it, Devanshu.
I'll explain 1 second. So I'll just explain one diagram to you and that will explain everything. Okay. There's one important diagram in this material which you should thoroughly understand and you will understand the entire delta merge. Yeah, this diagram. Okay. So what is delta merge and why it is there, first of all, right? See, HANA is a database which has 90% of its tables as a column tables. Okay. Column table means that in the memory location, the column values will be in the continuous memory location, not the row values, which is a traditional way. Row values will be stored in continuous memory locations in the storage, backend storage. But in column tables, column values will be stored instead of row values in the continuous memory storage. So that's what is called columnar tables. Now, because it is a column table, reading the data from them is very fast, because when you read the data, it's basically few columns. So if a table has 100 columns, you will most likely in your report, you will need 25, 30, 40 fields. Okay. So reading is very fast because the same column value is there in continuous memory location. It doesn't have to parse many memory location. In one memory location only, it's getting all the value of the column. And if it's a key column, then all the other values it can relate to, and it will show you very fast. That's why columnar storage is read optimized. They are not write optimized. Okay, so when you are talking about writing the data into a column table, it is a very slow process. Why it is slow process? Because when you write the data in the column, every column has to be updated, because when you are writing the data, you are writing the entire row, all the column values are being written, and when it is written, then the dictionary has to be sorted, the dictionary values have to be, new dictionary values have to be created, it has to be sorted, and then the compression has to happen, meaning your alphabetical values will be replaced by integer values, and then dictionary encoding will happen, and it will be sorted. So there are a lot of things happening when the data is being stored. Okay, so that means write operation on a column table is a expensive operation. It is a slow process. So to handle that, what SAP did is they said, okay, what I will do is I will not let you write in the main table, and that main table is called main store. Okay, what I will do is I will divide the data for every table into two separate data sets. First data set, I will call it as main store, and the second data set, I will call it as delta store. Main store is fully column based store. That means dictionary is there, sorting happens, compression happens, and your columnar storage happens in main store. That's why the read happens from main store, and that's why it's very fast. Delta store, the SAP said, I will not make it same as main store. I will not sort the dictionary, and I will not compress it fully. I will keep it non-sorted dictionary, and I will keep it uncompressed, meaning your write operation doesn't have to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which earlier they used to do when you are writing directly in the main store. When you're writing data in the main store, it goes through step 1, sort the dictionary, step 2, compress, step 3, replace the alphabetical values with your integer values, step 5, compression. So there were 5, 6 steps which had to be done before the data can be properly stored. Now in Delta 1, they have reduced 5 steps to only 1 or 2 steps. That's it. So that means the write is fast now compared to main store. So that's the reason they introduced the Delta store, to make the write faster. Now, Delta store is limited storage. You cannot just keep on putting data, because Delta store is not read optimized. It is write optimized. So that means at some point of time, you have to move your data from your Delta store to your main store. Because if you don't move, then your read operations will slowly become, the performance will slowly degrade for the read operations. So that's why there is a criteria. Criteria is already set by SAP in the backend, and if the threshold is met, if the criteria is met, the data automatically moves from Delta store to main store, and the read operations happen from the main store. During the Delta merge, these are the steps which happens. So before the merge, say for example, we have main store, read operation is happening. We have Delta store, read operation is also happening from Delta store. But write operation is only happening at Delta store. Okay, write operation does not happen at main store. It will always deal with Delta store, because write is faster. It is designed from ground up to be write optimized. During the merge, what happens is SAP creates a temporary main, a copy of main 1 and a copy of Delta 1. Okay, so main 2 will be created and Delta 2 will be created. Why they will be created? Because main 2 or this particular data has to be quiet in order for the merge to happen. If you keep, the main and Delta 1 occupied, then what happens is your merge will not happen quietly or properly. So that means a copy has to be created so that this is untouched. Main is untouched and Delta is also untouched. So they create a copy, main 1 to main 2, Delta 1 to Delta 2. Now the write operations shifts from delta 1 to delta 2. No write operation in delta 1. Again, delta 1 has to be quiet. If you want the merge to happen, you cannot keep sending the data here and then say merge, merge, merge. No, this has to be quiet. This has to be quiet. So that's why a copy is created. Okay. So no write operations on delta 1. Do all write operations on delta 2. Why? Because merge is happening here. Now merge takes the data from your main 1 and your delta 1 and creates, when the merge happens, then your main 2 and your delta 2 is created, and your after the merge operation is done. Merge operation means delta 1 and main 1 are now merged. Okay, so these will be merged, and finally your main 2 is retained, this is deleted, delta 2 is retained, this is deleted, because these were temporary copies during the merge operation, and while the merge is done, then they are deleted. Write can continue on delta 2, right? And your read can continue now from main 2. Main 2 is the merge operation of main 1 and delta 1. So they will be gone. Main 2 is remained and delta 2 is continued. So after the merge operation, the read operation shifts to main 2 because there is no main 1 anymore. So at any given point of time, there will be one delta store and one main store for every column table. If there are 100 column tables, you will have 100 main 2, 100 main store and 100 delta stores. And during the merge operation, this is how they do the merge operation. This is what is delta merge. Now delta merge in BW, you can trigger via DTP. In DTP, there's an option trigger delta merge. By default, it is activated. So you can check that. Even if you don't check that, the delta merge automatically happens via merge dog process daemon. There's a backend daemon merge dog. During that, so as soon as the data is full here, that means the criteria is met, threshold is met, automatic delta merge triggers in the backend. So you don't have to worry about it. This is all happening in the backend for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. What is hybrid modeling? Already answered. I think Shakti had this question. What is hybrid?
Yeah.
So this is already answered.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So thank you very much for attending today's session. We'll continue tomorrow with the concept of ODPs and ODQs, and we'll see in detail what is the subscription model, how it works.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Take care. Good day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.